My best friend is cheating on his wife. I'm not sure if this is the right place to share this, but I really need some advice. My best friend, who is 33 years old, and I, who am 32, have been inseparable for as long as I can remember. We met when we were just 5 years old, and from that point onward, our bond has only grown stronger. We've been through almost every major life event together: school, growing up, the good times, the bad times, you name it. I genuinely consider him my brother in every way except by blood. One of the most touching moments of our friendship came when we were still in high school. His grandmother, who had always treated me like family, passed away. In her will, she made the incredible gesture of including me. She left me a small trust to help with college expenses. I was both honored and deeply moved by her generosity. This act just cemented how intertwined our families had become. His family has always treated me like one of their own, and I know my family feels the same way about him. In 2017, we both got married. His wife and mine have a great relationship and have been close since we all started dating. While I'm not as close with his wife as I am with him or my own wife, I care about her a lot. I see her as the sister I never had, and I genuinely value the relationship we've all built over the years. I'm reaching out because I find myself in a situation where I could really use some guidance, and I trust the perspective of this community. 3 days ago, I was riding in my best friend's car, and he casually asked me to put on some music. Without thinking much of it, I picked up his phone, entered his passcode, which, like mine, we've both known for years, and began navigating through Spotify to find a playlist. As I was scrolling, a text notification popped up on his screen. It was from a contact labeled as Pizza Place. The message read, "Coming over tonight?" For a moment I just sat there, stunned. My heart was pounding and I couldn't make sense of what I had just seen. After a few seconds of silence, I turned to him, feeling a mixture of confusion and anger, and asked him directly, "Who the fuck is Pizza Place?" The question caught him off guard. He immediately became defensive, raising his voice and accusing me of snooping through his messages. I was trying to explain that I hadn't intentionally looked through anything, it was just there on the screen, when he abruptly pulled the car over into a nearby parking lot. What followed was an intense and heated exchange, with both of us yelling at each other. After a few minutes of arguing, he finally broke down and admitted the truth. He confessed that Pizza Place wasn't some quirky nickname for an actual pizza place, but rather a coworker he's been hooking up with for about a month. He seemed genuinely upset as he explained that he still loves his wife and has no intentions of leaving her. He insisted that this fling with his coworker wasn't something he planned or wanted to continue and that he's been trying to figure out how to end it. According to him, the situation has become complicated, and he doesn't feel he can just ghost the coworker. He begged me not to say anything to his wife, promising that he's going to handle it and end things as soon as he can. He also swore that this was a one-time mistake and that it wouldn't happen again. He pleaded with me, saying that exposing his infidelity would destroy his marriage, and he believes his wife deserves a chance at happiness without knowing about his lapse in judgment. After a lot of back and forth, I reluctantly agreed to keep quiet. At the time, I felt trapped between loyalty to my best friend and my moral compass. I've known him for almost my entire life, and I couldn't immediately bring myself to be the one to unravel everything. But as the day went on, I started thinking more about the situation, and something occurred to me that made me reconsider my decision to stay silent. He and his wife started the process of IVF a few months ago, which makes this situation even more complicated and heartbreaking. I haven't asked for too many details about their journey, but I know it's been an incredibly challenging process for them. His wife has leaned on my wife for emotional support throughout, and from what I've gathered, it's been physically, emotionally, and mentally taxing on her. She's been pouring everything she has into this dream of becoming a mother, and I can see how much she hopes for this to succeed. Now I find myself grappling with an agonizing dilemma. Is it right for me to stay silent about what I've discovered, knowing that they're actively trying to bring a child into the world? If his wife becomes pregnant and then later finds out about his infidelity, the child they've longed for and worked so hard to conceive could end up being born into a fractured home. The very idea of that scenario keeps me awake at night. On one hand, I feel an unwavering loyalty to my best friend. He's been like a brother to me for nearly my entire life. We've shared so many milestones, joys, and struggles, and I've always thought of him as someone with integrity and a good heart. Even now, despite the anger and betrayal I feel, I still don't believe he's a bad person. I know people make mistakes, and I know that this mistake doesn't erase all the good he's done or the love he has for his wife. Up until now, I've seen him as a devoted husband, and I can tell he's genuinely torn up about what he's done. But on the other hand, I feel an overwhelming sense of responsibility to his wife, who I care about deeply. She's not just his wife, she's become like a sister to me over the years. Watching her go through the highs and lows of IVF with so much hope and strength has made this all the more painful. I can't help but think that she deserves to know the truth about her husband's actions, especially as they're about to make one of the biggest decisions and commitments of their lives, bringing a child into the world. I also can't ignore the fact that I feel deeply betrayed by my best friend. It's not just the cheating, it's the ripple effect his actions have had on all of us. It feels like he's jeopardizing the small, tight-knit family the four of us have built together and the bigger, blended family we always talked about creating in the future. This betrayal has left me feeling hurt, angry, and torn in a way I never thought possible. At the end of the day, I know I'm not the one who was directly wrong here, but the weight of what I know feels unbearable. It's a burden that's affecting my judgment and my emotions. I feel like I'm standing at a crossroads, torn between protecting my lifelong friend and doing what I believe might be the right thing for his wife and their future child. I don't know what to do and I desperately need advice. He posted an update. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who took the time to read my post and offer their advice. I think I was still caught up in a whirlwind of shock and panic when I wrote it, and reading through your comments has helped me calm down and see things a bit more clearly. Your insights and perspectives have been invaluable, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you who reached out to help me navigate this difficult situation. I also want to take a moment to address some of the comments suggesting that I should bury this because, as a few of you put it, I have no ties to this woman, or he's your friend, not hers, or even the sentiment of brothers before hoes. I feel like these perspectives are missing a critical part of the picture, so I want to clarify. This isn't just some random woman my best friend started seeing a few months ago. She's not a stranger or an acquaintance I barely know. This is his wife, a woman he's been married to for 7 years and dated for 2 years before that. She's been a significant part of all our lives for nearly a decade. She celebrated with us during the good times and stood by us during the bad. Over the years, she's become more than just his wife to me. She's my friend in her own right. While our bond might not be as deep as the one I share with my best friend, I still care about her deeply and value the role she's played in our lives. To suggest that I owe her nothing or that she doesn't matter in this equation feels dismissive of the connection we've built and the trust she's extended to me over the years. The idea of brothers before hoes doesn't apply here because this isn't about some casual relationship. This is about a marriage, one that involves two people I care about deeply and respect. Reducing her to an hoe or implying that my loyalty to my best friend should override every other consideration doesn't sit right with me. I hope this clears up where I'm coming from and why I feel such a heavy weight about this situation. It's not just about loyalty to my best friend or protecting a secret. It's about doing what feels right for everyone involved, even if that means making a difficult decision. Thank you again to everyone who has offered advice and support. It means more to me than I can express. The evening after I posted this, I decided to tell my wife everything. After reflecting on your advice, I realized you were absolutely right. It wasn't fair or right to keep something so significant from her. She's not just my partner, she's my confidant and the person I should always be able to turn to. I should have trusted her with this from the beginning. When I sat down with her, I was nervous. I explained everything, what I had discovered, the confrontation with my best friend, and the turmoil I'd been feeling since. I was bracing myself for her to be upset, especially since many of you mentioned that she might be hurt I didn't come to her sooner. But to my surprise, she listened intently, quietly taking in every detail without interrupting. When I finished, there was a long pause. I could see her processing everything I had just told her. For a moment, I worried she might be angry or disappointed with me. But instead, she surprised me yet again. She said that a part of her was actually relieved, not relieved by the situation itself, but relieved because she could tell something had been weighing on me heavily over the past few days. She told me she had noticed the change in my demeanor, the distracted looks, the moments where I seemed lost in thought. She'd even asked me a few times if I was okay, but when I didn't open up, she decided to give me space, trusting that I'd share when I was ready. However, when I mentioned that I had posted about the situation online and sought advice from strangers before bringing it to her, she admitted she was slightly annoyed. She found it a bit silly that I would turn to the internet before turning to her, especially given how open and communicative we've always tried to be in our marriage. I apologized immediately for not telling her sooner and for hesitating to act, even though deep down, I already knew what I needed to do. What she said next reminded me why I married her. My wonderful, compassionate, and endlessly understanding wife looked at me and said, "Even when we're sure what's right, it's only human to hesitate when we know it's going to cost us dearly." Hearing her say that lifted such a weight off my shoulders. Her words made me realize that my hesitation, while flawed, didn't mean I lacked integrity, it just meant I was struggling with the complexity of the situation. After my wife and I finished our initial discussion, I decided to show her the thread I had posted. She spent nearly an hour reading through the comments, thoughtfully considering the advice and perspectives everyone had shared. Once she finished, we talked again about what we should do. Together, we ultimately decided that the right thing was to tell my best friend's wife, who, from here on out, I'll refer to as sister to avoid repeatedly calling her my friend's wife. The main reason we decided to take this approach, rather than giving my best friend an ultimatum to confess himself, was my wife's concern that he might use the time to manipulate the situation, either by covering his tracks or by trying to twist sister's perspective against us. While neither of us truly believed he would do that, it was impossible to ignore that he had already done something so out of character by cheating. It left us uncertain about what he might do to protect himself. With that in mind, my wife texted sister and asked if she could come over after work the next day. Sister typically works evenings and usually finishes her shift around 11 p.m. My wife made it clear in her message that this was a serious conversation, which understandably made sister tense when she arrived at our house. When she walked in, we sat her down and explained everything. We didn't hold anything back. We told her about the text I had seen, the confrontation with my best friend, his confession, and his assurances that he planned to end the affair. After listening quietly, sister took a long, deep breath before responding. Then she said something that took us both by surprise. "I've known for a couple of weeks." She explained that a few weeks ago, she had asked her boss if she could leave work early because she wasn't feeling well. When she got home, she found that her husband wasn't there. Confused, she texted him to ask what he was up to, and he replied that he was at home watching TV. Suspicious, she checked his location using the tracking app they both have on their phones, but his location services were turned off. Instead of confronting him right away, sister decided to leave the house again and wait until her normal shift would have ended to return home. When she got back, he was there. She casually asked him how his evening had been and if he had done anything interesting. He told her that he had been at home all evening, watching TV and playing video games. Later, she checked the tracking app again and noticed that his location services had been turned back on. At that point, sister said she didn't have concrete proof, but she felt in her gut that something was going on. Hearing our account confirmed what she had already suspected. We asked her what she planned to do now that she had the confirmation she needed. Here's the part one didn't see coming. Sister plans to move forward with IVF. When we asked her what she intended to do next, she told us that becoming a mother has always been her lifelong dream, something she's wanted more than anything else. Without IVF, she knows it will never happen. The process is incredibly expensive, and she's afraid that if she leaves her husband now, she won't be able to afford it on her own and may never get another chance. Her current plan is to go through with the implantation process and make a decision about her marriage afterward. She explained that she and my friend have a healthy embryo ready for transfer, and for her, the possibility of giving her child a chance outweighs everything else at the moment. It was clear how much thought she'd put into this, and while I couldn't imagine the strength it must take to move forward under these circumstances, I respected her clarity and determination. When I asked if there was any way she could see herself reconciling with my friend after all of this, her response was cautious and measured. She said it would depend entirely on him, on how he handled things from here on out, on whether he truly showed remorse, and on whether he made a genuine effort to rebuild her trust. Right now, though, her focus is solely on the IVF and the possibility of becoming a mother. Before leaving, she made one final request, that we not tell my friend that she knows about the affair. She said she wants to keep this information to herself for now, at least until she's had more time to think and the implantation process is complete. Both my wife and I agreed to respect her wishes. We promised we'd keep her confidence and assured her that we'd be there for her if she needed anything at all. The next day I called my best friend. I told him that while I still love him and value the bond we've shared for nearly 3 decades, I need some space after learning what he's done. I explained that his actions had hurt not just his wife but also me, my wife, and the small family dynamic we had all built together. I told him we wouldn't be seeing each other for a while, and though he sounded upset, he said he understood. This entire situation has left me feeling emotionally drained and conflicted. I want to support sister in any way I can, but it's also heartbreaking to see my lifelong friendship wither under the weight of such a betrayal. I still care about my best friend, but the trust and respect I had for him have been deeply shaken. At the same time, I'm in awe of sister's strength and resolve. Despite everything she's been through, she remains focused on her dream and determined to move forward, even if it means facing an uncertain future. Even now, I'm still feeling so many emotions at once. There's a sense of relief that I'm no longer carrying the weight of this secret alone. Sharing the truth with sister and having the support of my wife has lifted a heavy burden, but that relief is tempered by a deep sorrow for sister and everything I fear she's going to have to endure. I'm angry at my best friend for making choices that have fractured not just his marriage but the close-knit family dynamic we had all built together over the years. Even if that family isn't completely destroyed, it feels irreparably damaged. His actions have created a rift that may never fully heal, and I'm struggling to reconcile the person he's been to me my entire life with the choices he's made now. And then there's the grief. It feels like I've lost the person who has been by my side through every milestone, every challenge, and every joy since we were children. The bond we shared, one that felt unshakable, now feels deeply compromised. While I still love him and hope he can find a way to make things right, not just for sister but for himself, I know things will never be the same between us. I also find myself hoping, perhaps naively, that for the sake of all three of them, my best friend, sister, and the potential child, they can somehow find a path forward that works. I know the chances of that are slim, but I want to hold on to the possibility that something positive might come out of all this pain. This entire situation has been utterly exhausting. The emotional toll has been heavier than I could have imagined, and I'm still not entirely sure how to move forward from here. But now at least I can try. I can focus on supporting my wife, being there for sister if she needs me, and taking the time I need to heal from this. Thank you all again for your help. I doubt I'll have any more updates. Let's read some comments. In my comment in this post, I think I included some resources that could be useful to him. He can't fix anything but himself. Counseling would help, but if he wants any chance of saving his marriage, send him to Reddit as one after infidelity and have him beg for advice. He has to give up any sense of self-preservation or control and be ready to quit his job, burn down his AP in every way, and confess everything. The books How to Help Your Spouse Heal from Your Affair and Not Just Friends should become his Bibles. He is delaying to try to save himself. He can't do that and save his marriage. Probably can't save any of it, job or marriage, but if he wants any chance he can't think this way. He replied to the first comment. Thanks for the advice, I'll pass it along. Thank you for listening the story to the end. If you enjoy our videos, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a good day, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it and hit the notification bell icon to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.